What's up, guys? Week 5, Sunday live stream. As you can tell, it's just me today, so I don't have any of the awesome technical advantages that Hopper gets to use when we do these things. So, no intros, no funny quips. I am Dan Theory at Theory BFF if you're tuning in for the first time. You can find myself on Twitter at Theory BFF. You can find Hopper at Hop BFF with 2 P's. You can follow the show at Beerfield FF on Twitter, Instagram, Untapped, Facebook. I believe is Beerfield Fantasy Football. Um, it's a little different for me. For those of you that have been waiting for a Dan runs the show, especially by himself, you're gonna get your wish for today and for the next 2 episodes. Hopper and live studio audience are on their honeymoon at the moment. He'll be back, I believe, next Sunday for that. So gonna be a little short in length. We're gonna jump into the news. Just quick ins and outs, everything like that. For the Steelers, Juju and Van Stans are both active for this game. I like both. I like Juju's matchup. The fact that he does most of his damage in the slot. You're going to see them abuse the Ravens, which have been very susceptible to giving up slot yards. So, like Juju this week. Barkley, of course, is out. Damiere Byrd is out for the Cardinals as well. Keyshawn Johnson is now the number 2 with Christian Kirk, who's battling, I believe, a high ankle sprain. Is also out for the Bills. You have Devin Singletary out. So you have Josh Allen active, beating the concussion protocol and finding himself playing. Still don't like the matchup as much this week. The Titans are pretty damn good defense. Julian Edelman is active for this game. They should be able to smash against Washington. Have fun dealing with that, though. Kenny Stills is out, which means KQT is their primary slot receiver again for the Texans. This is a good matchup, one of my favorite game stacks for DFS. As Atlanta is pretty bad defensively, they get beat a lot through the air. Same with Houston. Should be a fun over-under, I believe it's at 50 now. What's up, Cotter? Jack Doyle, Vance McDonald, and PPR. I'm going to go. I like the upside with Vance as you can take any play to the house. Chiefs are going to be forcing the Colts to throw the ball a lot more, so I would take Jack Doyle for the floor. It's hard to say, though, because even Vance McDonald, when he's healthy, doesn't seem to get the majority, or he'll get the majority of the snaps, but he won't play all the snaps. They have no issue using Crimble. They have no issue now with just trading for Nick Vannett. I'm rolling out Jack Doyle, though. And then I think with the healthy T.Y. Hilton is going to help with that as well. What's up, Crunch? Good to see you again, man. I'm playing Fan today at tight end standard. Do you recommend picking up Knox or Doyle over him streaming-wise? For standard scoring, I'm not the biggest fan of Jack Doyle. It's good. It was good to see Dawson Knox be able to do a little bit more in that offense. Finding the end zone last week. I would probably play Fant still. You got to see the chemistry develop between him and Flacco over the course of the season. Fant is extremely athletic, and for standard scoring, you're looking for yards and touchdowns more so than just reception. So I would stick with Fant. I don't hate Doyle. I just like him a lot more in PPR leagues. Yeah, Cotter, times are tough for me too, man. I got 19 leagues I got to deal with. I got I got to run a show apparently for some reason. So here we are. For those tuning in, again, it's just me. Just Dan today. Hopper is with live studio audience on his honeymoon, so he'll be out for the rest of the week. We're going to jump back into some of these. There's a couple more actives to talk about. Terry McLaurin is active today. I believe Colt McCoy is the QB. That's going to be starting. Who knows for how long until he throws a couple interceptions. Also, Jeremy Sprinkle, not a bad play this week from that Washington game. If you expect them to have to be playing from behind a lot, which is probably going to happen against New England. Just a couple more, then we'll get to the questions again. Deshaun Jackson is out. I think people are not surprised about that one. And Tyrell Williams for Oakland is out. That means Darren Waller may actually see a 50% target share this week. Not going to lie, it's going to be insane. Still not a great matchup against the Bears, but if you can't beat the Bears, it's through the air. Waller's not going to see a bunch of air yards, but he's going to get a shit ton of targets. What's up, Owen? Start, sit, pick 3, Boyd, Thielen, Juju, or Cooper, PPR league. Uh it's a good problem to have, I guess. You got to pick from those three. I'm gonna go with Boyd, Thielen, and Juju. I spoke about Amari Cooper this week as a potential sit if you can afford it. He's going to get Jair Alexander, who's been phenomenal this season. We've seen that he can get beat up and punished and pushed off. It's a great route runner, but he has struggles against top tier cover corners. And Jair Alexander is starting to become that. With Michael Gallup back, they may not have to lean on Cooper as much. I still like Cooper. I think if I get to pick between these four receivers, though, I'm fine taking the opportunity. When it comes to Thielen, I'm a huge Vikings fan. I'm from Minnesota. I firmly believe that he will get fed today. I think this is the perfect opportunity for both him and Diggs to get fed. I am doing a game stack with those two and Cousins. I'm living life on the edge, which has been pretty brutal as being a Vikings fan for right now. But when it comes to, and then, with Boyd, someone's got to catch passes there. There's no John Ross. I don't really care much about Auden Tate. If you've been listening to this show for the last couple of years, you know that we don't really care about Auden Tate here. But Tyler Boyd should get pampered here with targets. There's still no Patrick Peterson. He's still suspended. So I like those three this week. As for the weather report, yeah, the Giants secondary, especially their corners, get beat to shit. I think if you look up who's allowed the most air yards, I believe Jenkins and their other guy, I can't remember off the top of my head who he is, have their top 5 in yards allowed to receivers. So if there's a game that they're both going to get fed, and again they're going to get especially overcorrected in terms of the more potential passing volume, this is a good game to bet on, for Thielen and Diggs out there. So exactly, same thing with Evans. Yep. I believe that offensive game scheme a little bit more that Bruce Arians is running in Tampa Bay than I do with Kevin Stefanski and Mike Zimmer does in Minnesota. But yes, Thielen, Diggs, awesome receivers. So I love them this week. Thanks for the questions, guys. As for the weather report, for the most part, these games should be fine. There are some potential thunderstorms throughout the Bills and Titans game. Should have some wet field conditions out there. There's also projected rain for the Cardinals-Bengals game and Ravens-Steelers game. Nothing insane. Just keep an eye out on that if that's a concern for you. We're more about the wind than anything else, but it looks like there's not a lot of terrible gusts or anything going on from what I've seen so far. If you guys have seen differently, then we can discuss that. As for other news, I don't think there's much else. We know that Melvin Gordon is going to get a lot more than 0 targets today, or 0 touches today. So I know that's been a popular question amongst people is Austin Eckler, what to do with him, what to do with Melvin Gordon. I'm playing both this week. This is a good matchup against Denver. I don't see much for anything else. Giants are eyeing a Week 6 return for Saquon Barkley. This is insane. The fact that that he actually might come back at the earliest mark for his 4 to 8 week. That was supposed to be given to him. I believe they're playing against the Patriots next week, though, so not a great matchup. Tackles again, Ridley or Hollywood in PPR. I love Ridley this week. Again, I really like the potential shootout for the Texans and Falcons, and the Texans have given up a lot of receiving yards to receivers, more so than tight ends this year. That's why I say tread lightly with Austin Hooper this week. When it comes to Hollywood and it comes to the Ravens and Steelers, just historic matchups have always been kind of that close, grind them out dirty. Maybe he gets a couple big shots. I like really for more of the safer floor this week. I think he'll get his 6-8 targets as the Texans will force the Falcons to throw, as what we've seen from them all, from all year long. I think this is a good get right game for Calvin Ridley this week. What else do we got? If you guys got any more questions, keep them rolling in. It's harder to kill time when there's only one of us talking here. Ian Rappaport reports that Damien Williams should be playing this week, or should be playing tonight against the Colts. That's going to likely kill Darrell Williams in any sort of flexible matchup. It depends on what we expect to see from both him and McCoy. Both likely still banged up with their respective injuries. So it might hurt McCoy a little bit. He hasn't gotten a whole lot of snaps in terms of, he's not the lead dog in snaps. He wasn't the lead dog with when Williams was out. It was more so Darrell Williams getting the majority of the snaps there, or at least getting more snaps and touches than McCoy. McCoy gets the high value ones though in the red zone. So I still like him this week as a flex option. Evan Ingram or Darren Waller from Skip Newton. Man, that's tough. I think I got to go with Darren Waller just because no Tyrell Williams this week. I just don't see a scenario where he gets less than 10 targets. Like, the Bears may not push the game script against them, but someone's got to catch footballs in Oakland. And why not just a short 8-out ones, 6-7 yards out in the field to Darren Waller. I think that's a good problem to have. It could even be a why not play both skip, I guess, if you want to. I take Waller in PPR. I can see a good argument for Ingram and standard score and even half point. His average depth of target has skyrocketed, or his average yards per reception has skyrocketed with Daniel Jones in our 2 short game sample size. I believe it was 9.6 with Eli Manning, and it jumped to I think 15.6 since Daniel Jones has taken over. So deal with that information as you will. What's up, Dylan? It's good to see you again, bud. Diggs, Ridley, or John Brown half-point PPR this week. Not playing John Brown this week. I know that Hopper loves to preach John Brown a shit ton as much as he possibly can, but this is a tough matchup against Tennessee. He gets a winnable corner matchup against Malcolm Brown, but I just don't like that game script compared to the other two. If we're gonna debate between Diggs and Ridley, though, I think Ridley is the safer option in my mind. Diggs, with all the behind the scenes issues that seems to be going on, missing practices, missing mandatory and team meetings, getting a shit ton of fines rolled up against him, it's harder for me to believe that he can get his own this week. I still love him, but I think if we're debating between Diggs and Ridley, I'm going to lean Ridley. It's just a safer option. Both have insane floors this week, just given the potential for shootouts, and the Vikings deciding to just lean on the pass this week more. Yes, Taco, David Montgomery. Today's the day. I talked about him in our source and assist section on Wednesday. I love David Montgomery this week. I don't believe Mike Davis traveled with the team. I don't even think it matters. This is a very winnable matchup against Oakland. Not a very good defense. No perfect out. That piece of shit's now suspended. Thankfully for the whole year, he should be out of the league. But either way, David Montgomery is a great play this week. May not be the most effective runner. It's hard to get that going against a really good Vikings defense last week. He should have a lot more opportunity to showcase why people loved him so much coming out of Iowa State. So I'm a big David Montgomery fan this week, especially for DFS too. He's just short. I think he's 5,700 or 5,900 on FanDuel. If you don't have any more questions, guys, I'm gonna likely take off here with just one of us here. I don't have any other news that jumped out. If you guys have any other questions you want to throw at me before we get out of here, go ahead and do so. If I don't get to you guys on the show, you can shoot me a message. I've gotten a lot better at answering the show the show DMs on Twitter. You can ask on Facebook. We've gotten a few of those. You can ask on Instagram. I check them all. I've gotten a lot better at it. So if nothing else that you guys have, I know it's a short one. Normally we go for another 15 minutes, but with just me rolling, I got to change. Got to get change and everything else. Yes, Daddy. Thank you, son. You guys have a good one. I'm going to figure out how to do this without having any issues. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and good luck this week, guys. See ya.